Hi everyone, so we're looking at stuff we made last week, which was the silhouette and the sponged backgrounds. So today we're going to look at slightly different. We're going to look at how to make a background of clouds, mountains and things. So I have some scrap acetate here. It's about 10 centimeters wide. And I'm going to see if I can put a piece of card behind it so you can see it a bit better how it's shaped. So I want a rough cloud shape, so I'm going to do there we go. You can do these masks out of paper, but they're not going to last. If you've got a nice shape that you want to keep, then acetate is the way to go. This is one of the same masks that we did last week. So I'm going to look at my cloud mask here, and if you see, if I can move it across, can you see the cloud shapes changing? So I'm going to put that there. Now I'm going to start with an ink pad because that's easier for me to use rather than water and watercolour. So I'm going to just pick up a little bit of the ink on a makeup sponge, and I need to start on here and just gently come down as far as my cloud. So I have filled in that shape across the top. Now I want to change it so that I've got a different piece of the cloud, and this time I want to just sponge the other side of my acetate. You're not looking for a heavy colouring. So can you see we've just got a bit there? And I'm going to come down. So I'm using a different part of the clouds because you never get clouds that are regimented all the way down. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. Okay, that is put to one side, but I've also got this straight edge that if I wanted to, I could make, see how carefully I'm doing it, I could give myself another, let's try and put it onto there, I could give myself another cloud shape, so I've got a choice. Okay, put that to one side. Now we're going to have a look at mountains. Now let's bring back my piece of card so you can see it. Now a mountain is not like that. Okay. A mountain will have rough sides, different peaks, plateaus. So it is just, if you like, almost hacking your way across. There we go. So let's try and put that down. So can you see as it moves across the different mountains? So those are quite big mountains. And I'm going to go along the other side and just do a few smaller mountains. If I was doing right across the card, then I think I would probably be using the larger mountains. But let's have a variety. Right, okay, that's better, look. That's much smaller mountains. Right, okay, so I've now got some greys. Let's cover that. And I've got a truffle. So I'm going to put that onto there. That's a much darker one. Okay. So I'm going to pick up the darker one and just dab it lightly. And we're going to use the same technique to just touch the top of the mountains. Okay, then I'm going to a different set of the mountains. Okay, and let's try a bit of the bluey colour. There we are. So I've now got my range of mountains coming in, and what I'm going to do now is I've got some natural sponge, so I'm going to just screw that up. I'm going to pick up some green and I'm just dabbing across the bottom to fill in the bottom. So there we go. To do a couple of greens. Right, so cover those over, and we're now going to take that off, and we now have a surround going around there. Now, I lose a little bit of definition on here, so what I could do is put that back onto there, and if I go back to my first colour, which was the blue, and I can make sure that as I come down there, on that light piece, I'm just touching around the edge like we did last week. And now when I take that off, you can see I've got a much more defined edge. Okay, so now we can have a look at perhaps putting the dove in there. We could put the stag at the base. We could put, let's find the small air balloon, and we could put the smaller air balloon in it. Okay, so we've now had a sky background, a mountain background, and we've got some greenery in the foreground. Okay, so we've quickly built up a picture that we can add any die cut to. Let's take a quick look at what if we want to do a whole background. Okay, so we're coming back in with our, let's see what we've got. That's mountains. It's a good idea to put a sticker on there so you can see exactly what you've got, because when you put the acetate down it frequently disappears. So I'm going to come back. I've still got a bit of the dark on my sponge, but I'm going to go in with some blue as well. And the first one, we need to completely cover that top piece. I'm going round and round in circles. Right, I can see the darker ink coming out, which is exactly what I wanted. because I wanted a more moody effect on the sky. There we go. So you can see if I brought that down it would look totally unnatural. So what I'm going to do, just swivel it round. I'm picking up a little bit more blue and I'm just doing over the top of the acetate. Right. Okay, you can swivel the piece of acetate as much as you like. You can flip it and you can do bits with it flipped. You might try the different clouds you've got on the other side. There you go. So there we have the clouds. We could then add hot air balloons. Now I've got two different sizes of balloon, so I can have the smaller one in the much further back, this one nearer, and if you want to put a little bit of greenery along the bottom, alright, we go with the sponge, and I'm not going to squash it together. Right, this time I'm just dabbing so it's very loose. Okay. Right, if I want to now screw that up into a circle, I can give the effect of trees. Okay. So we'll put those to one side. I'm going to cover up my ink pads, and I just need to make sure I don't put my fingers in that one. And what I'm going to do is just get a quick brown pen to show you another technique. Right, I'm going to use, that will be alright. So what I can do now is to just touch in the effect of the trunk of a tree and just touch in occasionally where the leaves part, and you can see a bit of the branches. It's not a true artistic look at it, it's just giving an impression. Okay. There we go. So let's bring in, now we could have a stag there. I haven't done the rest of the deer family, so unfortunately I'm stuck with two stags. But you can see how quickly you can build up a scene. We could go back to the hot air balloons. We could go with the dove off to one side. Right. You remember we brought this one in last week. So we've got, move it upwards, I've moved the camera. So there we've got some gates. Let's do a little bit of chopping, because there's no reason why we can't have an opening there, and the stag coming out the opening. Let's just tidy up that a bit. So always look at your things and see how you can change them. So we could change that like that. So it's up to you to play around, but I'd love to see what you can manage to do and what colouring mediums you've managed to use. Okay, God bless.